All right, I had just explained that the most efficient way to solve the basic equation for your A, your B, and your C is to just substitute some convenient values in for x to make things disappear, make it equal to 0. However, there is an alternative way which involves equating the coefficients and then writing a system of equations. This one's the preferred method whenever the partial fraction decomposition gets really complicated, and it'll always work. It's foolproof, and it takes out some of the guesswork for sure. So let me show you what this looks like here. So let's assume that we're using the same exact basic equation here. I'm going to write it down again. We got x plus 8 is equal to a times x plus 4, and then b times x plus 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do some distributive property here and then combine like terms on the right side of the equation. I'd have ax plus 4a, bx plus 2b. Right now I'm just going to rearrange this a little bit because if we're going to combine some like terms, there would be some numbers in front of these, like the a and the b. I'd know what they were, and so I could just add them together. So I'm going to group them together right now. Ax plus bx, and then again, a and b would just be some numbers. You multiply it by 4, you multiply it by 2, then these are just constant values. I'm going to group those two up as well. So 4a plus 2b. All right, to make this a little bit more obvious, these two terms have a common factor of x, so I'm going to factor it out. When I do, I have a plus b times x. Then I'm not going to factor anything out of the second set, even though I could. I'm just going to write it as 4a plus 2b. Okay, let me rewrite or bring down that left side of the equation. And now what you do is, it's called equating the coefficients. So what it basically means is the left side of this equation is identical to the right side of the equation, which means if we put it in order, the coefficient, the leading coefficient out here, which is an understood 1, should exactly match up with whatever a plus b is. So here's our first equation. A plus b should be equal to 1. Right? And then the second equation should be the constant term, which is 8, should be equal to whatever 4a plus 2b is. That's the second equation. 4a plus 2b should be equal to 8. And then however it is that you solve a system of equations, and again, the suggestion is, like, if this gets more and more complicated, the best way to solve this system of equations is with a matrix. And you would do RREF, you remember from algebra, reduced row echelon form, or row reduced echelon form, of it would be a 1 for the coefficient of the A, a 1 for the coefficient of the B is equal to 1, a 4 for the coefficient of A, a 2, and an 8. All right, so let me just throw this into the calculator here and see what it gives us. And it should match up exactly with whatever it was that we got originally. I mean, whatever that was. All right, so here I've got, one of these TI-84 fancy color calculator. Here, let me just clear this thing out. So if you have forgotten, if it's been a minute since you've done some system of equations matrix work on your calculator, the first thing that I am going to do is call up the RREF. It's under the matrix menu, which is above the reciprocal key, so it is second x negative 1. And we want to go over here to math. Now, you probably in algebra edited and put in your matrix inside of one of these, but I'm not going to do that because I'm going to build my matrix right on the home screen. It's very easy. I will show you how to do that in a minute. So instead, I'm going to go to math, and I scroll down until I see RREF, which is B here. Inside of the parentheses should be our actual matrix. If I had put it in the matrix editing menu, I would put the name of the thing in here, but I'm actually going to build it right here. There's a keyboard shortcut for it. It is alpha F3. And so here you can see it says matrix down at the bottom, shorthand anyway, and then how many rows and how many columns is it? It was 2 rows and it was 3 columns. So I'm going to come up here and change this second 2 to a 3. Scroll down here to OK. And then it puts a generic matrix in here that I just want to fill in all my values. And if I am not mistaken, which I probably am, I have to try to remember I think it was ones across the top. So 1, 1, and 1. And then the second one, which I don't remember. Why don't you scream it out to me? Or I can look here, 4, 2, 8, of course. So a 4, a 2, and 8. Nope, that's incorrect. A 2, and now an 8. And then you just hit enter. And then remember the way that you read this off. So this is the A position, and this one is the B position. So A is equal to 3, and B is equal to -2, which is exactly what we got before. Like I said, that let's say that there's an A, a B, a C, a D, an E, then this might be a lot more efficient to do it with. And then also we're going to look at an alternative video where maybe I have repeated factors, which makes it more complicated, or maybe I have quadratic factors, which makes it even more complicated. Okay, stop.